Varsity Club, welcome back to another classic. I gotta admit, it feels really good to finish the season as the #1 team, especially with the journey we went through. We've now captured our 3rd national title. You'd love to see it, despite not winning a conference title. That's kind of crazy. Cedric Thornton was our #1 guy for the majority of the season, and the first quarterback to really throw more interceptions and less touchdowns than, well, someone we won't talk about for a little bit. We have Jason Barr go for 1,700 yards with 28 touchdowns. Again, this dude is breaking records out there. We have Jeremy Willis, our top receiver, 33 grabs, 595 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Let's just say that our passing game is one of the weakest it's ever been in school history. Coleman leads us in tackles at 78. We see Bernard Harvey with 4 interceptions this season, and then Mr. Edwards comes in with 7 sacks. Again, not Mr. Mullins, but he's still a good year. Now, we do have some school records that were broken, none in the passing game because, well, none in the good side of the passing game, because this was not a great passing year for us. On the receiving side, you see a lot of records are still there, but Jason Barr ends up getting the career receptions record at 173. A running back, career receptions. They thought he couldn't do it, the man did it. From an interception standpoint, Mike Hemphill, despite not having the season maybe we thought he was going to have for his senior year, he still ends up with 18 total career interceptions, again, giving him the record that, again, he rightfully deserves. And he still has his interception record from the season prior, but again, 9 interceptions in a season, 18 records in a career. Those end up being his. And speaking of someone holding records as well in defense, Mark Mullins, 46 sacks over the course of his career. Had 21 in the previous year, had 5 in a game last season as well, but doesn't really get many. About 5 or so this season, still, he holds the record. And the rushing record in this situation for Cascade Valley should just be called the Jason Barr Book of Records, because this dude holds every single one. 85 career rushing touchdowns, 7 touchdowns in a game, 33 rushing touchdowns in a season, 5,964 yards in his career, 300 yards in a single game, 2,006 yards in a single season. The dude was a legend in every single way. He should have won 2 Heismans. And again, before we jump into the offseason and look through sort of the stats for everybody overall, you see Kendrick goes for 639 passing yards and 5 touchdowns with 4 interceptions. Again, Thornton, you've already seen his stats. On the rushing side, we see Jason Barr, 1,700 yards. You already seen that. Thornton has a 608 with 3 rushing touchdowns. Sean Stewart, Mr. Touchdown Vulture himself, who's hopefully coming back next season, ends up with 344 yards and 9 touchdowns. We see Kendrick with 229 and 2 touchdowns, and Jeremy Willis has 1 touchdown with 144 yards. On the receiving side, Jason Barr, 47 grabs, 550 yards receiving, and 4 touchdowns, along with 70 this season as well. Tom Baker is 35 for 582 and 2 touchdowns. Willis, again, you've seen his stats that we just saw. RJ Riley, 27, 47 and 3. Williams, 344 and 10, or 2 touchdowns. See a touchdown by Stewart, 2 by Gold, 2 by Wilson, and 1 by Mike Hemphill, who again only caught 3 balls this year, but 1 went for a touchdown. On the offensive line, Jason Miller had the most pancakes we saw with 12. We see Simpson right behind him at 11, and again, Jacquez Simmons, who was a true freshman starter, ends up getting 10 pancakes, not a single sack allowed to center. Look, I know our offensive line is sort of young and got some guys that got to work a little bit, but this is a really good base. On defense again, Jay Coleman, 80 total tackles, 70 of those being solo. We see Demel Hill, the true freshman, came in and absolutely dominated there at safety for 76 tackles, 7 of those being for loss. Tim Wade was great in his senior year. We see Stephen Lowe, Chris Bass, who played well in his sophomore season. From a sack perspective, again, Bobby Edwards, the senior, comes in with 7 tackles. We see Mullins come in with 6 tackles this season. Brown has 5, as well as Jones, Bass, and Stephen Lowe. Then a couple of guys chime in with some sacks here and there, but really, if you go to the interception mark, this really wasn't what we thought. We see Fowler in his junior season go for 4. Bernard Harvey also goes for 4. Hemphill, we said, was a senior, but I meant to say he was a junior. Hemphill goes for 3. Cole goes for 2 as a Stephen Lowe and Tim Wade, and then Chris Bass is an interception as well. We did have 2 defensive touchdowns this season. Matthew Fowler getting 1, and Mr. Mike Hemphill. Again, these are guys you expect that from, and when they don't do it, you're kind of like, where you been? But you know what? They've done it every single season in the last couple of years, and we're happy about that. On the kicking game, Kirk Hancock only missed 1 single field goal this year, 16 of 17. Long of 49 yards, didn't quite break 50 this season. It was 62 of 63 in extra points. On the punting side, Barnes goes 19 for 903, a 47.5 average. Then we see from a kick return perspective, Hemphill goes 14 for 335, 1 touchdown as well. And then the punt side, Hemphill 27 for 350, no touchdowns on that side. And to give you guys some career stats for some major players before we jump into the rest of the offseason, Thornton throws for 3,436 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 24 interceptions through his 2 years that he's played here. From a rushing standpoint, Barr, again, you've seen that. Stewart has over 1,100 yards with 30 touchdowns. Again, to only run as little as he has and have 30 rushing touchdowns is incredible. Thornton has 722. Kendrick has about 229. Riley's hit 250 plus. You've seen that as well. From the receiving side, Barr, again, 1,700 receiving yards, 17 touchdowns. Baker has 19 touchdowns, tied for the lead with Jared Gold of people that have played in the team for the last couple of seasons. Riley, almost at 2,000 yards. I mean, a lot of these guys are really spreading the ball pretty close, and that's honestly pretty exciting. So the career tackle metric is actually a little bit broken. Solo tackles are actually total tackles, and tackles are solo tackles, but it is what it is. Stephen Lowe is a junior, 187. You got to imagine he comes back for his senior year. Hemphill at 151. We're showing this, and some of these guys may not come back, so we want to make sure we give them their due. Dwayne Cole at 134. Fowler at 128. Mullins, 127 tackles as a defensive end. 73 of those being for loss. The dude is an absolute legend. Chris Bass, some of these other guys haven't really been playing as much. From a sack perspective, again, Mullins at 46, Edwards at 27, Stephen Lowe at 16, Dwayne Cole at 10, David Jones Locker. I mean, this dude hasn't really played a ton, but look what he did. 9 sacks for him. Interceptions, see Hemphill, only guy in double digits. Fowler's really close to that mark of double digits with 1 away. See Dwayne Cole with 7. Bernard Harvey comes out here with 5. We see Stephen Lowe with 4. Tom Baker, a wide receiver's got 2 interceptions of his own. Obviously, he can play a little bit of defense. And we go over to our kicking side as well. Hancock, again, a senior, going for the season. Only missed 3 field goals in his entire career, along of 51. Was 306 for 316 on extra points. Early in his career, he had a little bit of struggle. We see Barnes, 2,700 yards and punts. 3 of those got blocked. Kick returns, Hemphill, nearly 1,000 yards in his career, with 2 kick returns for a touchdown. Punt return, he's at 714 yards. Again, no touchdowns there, but Jason Barr did get a punt return touchdown of his own right. Coach Mervin McMervin has absolutely turned this program around. I mean, you can look where his job security is. He's absolutely going to be in a good spot. You can see when he got hired, they were 5-7, then 10-3, 13-1, 11-3, 15-0 back-to-back seasons, 12-2 this season, and what was their toughest schedule by far. This dude pretty much has a lifetime contract. Now, coaching changes are something that have really impacted us pretty heavily in the past couple of seasons, but this year we're only losing 1 coach, but it's our offensive coordinator, so that means that we probably got a new playbook coming in this season. It'll be Dwayne Ledford is coming in on a 4-year contract. Who knows if he'll stay that long. Previously he was at Troy with, one of our former coaches that happens to be over there, and his alma mater is East Carolina. He's bringing a little bit of a pistol style, but we're going to switch it up a little bit. But just know there's going to be some different plays coming into Cascade Valley, as our previous head coach goes to Oklahoma State. Our previous offensive coordinator goes to Oklahoma State. Now, things are about to get really, really spicy for Cascade Valley. So we have a lot of underclassmen, obviously, that plays super well. And you can see Matthew Fowler, who we once had to convince to not leave us to a different team, is now wanting to go to the NFL draft. We're going to try to persuade him. He'll regret not staying to get his college degree. Persuasion chance is pretty high. Conference championship, all these different things we could sort of give for him. I feel like if he's got a persuasion chance to high, talk me into it. Can't wait to come back next year. We're bringing him back. Chris Johnson, again, another guy that's sort of trying to declare, which makes me scared. We're going to tell him to come back for his degree. They say his family agrees with us. Okay, we got him too. Anthony Minor, again, a guy that really hasn't played a ton for us, so this will be the season that he can. He's already projected to be a high guy. We're going to see if we can get him to come back as well. He's going to come back too. Okay, we're 3 for 3. That's a W. Now, Tristan Howard wants to transfer for some playing time. He's a freshman. I totally get it. And our chances of really getting him to come back are 0. So we're just going to go ahead and just wave bon voyage as he's not coming back. Anthony Minor, again, we got a lot of these guys to stay. Mike Hemphill is going to be staying as well. He had looked at going in the pro draft, but he decided to come back for his senior year, which is huge news. Another year of Mike Hemphill. That one guy in the comments is going to love that. And then we look and see what our seniors are doing. So we're looking at Bobby Edwards, projected to be a 1st rounder. Mark Mullins, projected to be a 2nd rounder. Jason Barr, projected to be a 3rd rounder. The disrespect on that man. Jared Gold, a 4th rounder. Hancock, a 6th rounder. Mason, a 6th rounder. Look, we have a lot of really good players on our team I think should be going a little bit higher. We're also seeing Dwayne Cole graduate, as well as Whitaker, Wade, Gross, and David Jones. I feel like those guys will be undrafted free agents at some point, but still, there is a lot of talent that we ultimately got to stay this season, which is going to be huge. We just lose out really on one guy that we could have potentially made come back. In a little bit of the coaching carousel here, we're seeing that Ledford obviously coming in to be our new offensive coordinator. Mike Gundy ends up leaving, but he ends up going to Illinois because Jeff Woods, former coach on our side, ends up getting fired. So some Cascade Valley alumni moving around. All right, so from a draft results standpoint, this is interesting. Bobby Edwards goes in the 1st round, which you'll love to see. Jason Barr, who they had projected as a 3rd rounder, ends up going in the 1st round, which he rightfully deserves. You see Jared Gold going in the 2nd round. You see Mark Mullins going in the 2nd round. Hancock and Mason both go in the 6th round. One of our guys didn't get drafted, if I remember correctly, but still, that is a major haul for us. The first and probably the best draft I think we've had of this many guys going in the 1st round and top 2 rounds, or just draft overall. You love to see it. Now, every year I'm super excited for transfer requests. We got one. It's Darrow Rd. Let's go ahead and check this young man out really quick. Okay, literally is not playing so far. He's a freshman. 77 speed acceleration. His blocking isn't really super big, but we can honestly use a little bit of help, probably a fullback. Maybe he makes a roster, maybe he doesn't, but for right now, we're going ahead and say, you know what, buddy, you can come on over to Cascade Valley. So signing day comes in, and we see Notre Dame go number 1, North Carolina go number 2, and then we have, I think, one of those probably the strongest classes we think we've ever had here in Cascade Valley. We get 1 5-star, 12 4-stars, 6 3-stars, 2 2-stars for a total of 21 recruits coming to our team. There's a ton of really talented players. We got McDonald, Williams, we got a couple of guys that could possibly play quarterback. We'll see what ultimately happens at our QB position. We've got Johnson coming in there. We got 1 running back, actually 2 running backs coming in as well this season. The guy I'm probably the most hyped about though is Quentin Robinson. We'll see how he ultimately pans out, but there are a ton of players to be excited about for this upcoming roster. One of those guys though is Shackelford, a 6'6" strong safety. The dude's going to be a playmaker one way or the other. I think he's going to be a playmaker. Now, a couple of position changes to come up because we only had 3 athletes this season, which a lot of you are probably happy about. We didn't go overboard with it, but Patrick McDonald is a highly touted recruit. Our only 5-star we got, only 5-star we've had in a couple of seasons here. This dude is a big-time player. He could play quarterback, he could play running back, he could play a little bit of wide receiver, he could play a little bit on defense as well. But this guy belongs at quarterback. He's got 85 throw power, 80 accuracy. We're going to sit him year 1, and we'll see what he's got year 2, but I think he could really contend to be a starter going into season 2 for him. Porter Ryan is another really interesting prospect. He's got pretty solid speed, but he's got about 83 throw power and throw accuracy. He could play a little bit of running back pretty poorly, could play wide receiver, honestly pretty good. If you look at our wide receiver depth chart, we have an insane amount of people there. Probably some cuts that are going to be coming in that position as well, and a lot of red shirts. Some of these dudes that came in may not even be making it. We don't really see a need to put him there, but when you think about it, we do have 1, 2, 3 seniors at the top. We've already got a couple of quarterbacks that are playing there. Maybe it does make sense to put him there. Cedric Thornton is apparently mulling over whether he transfers or not. We still don't really know what's going to happen there, but we do know that we have Ben Williams, a really talented quarterback. You have Patrick McDonald, another really talented quarterback. These guys will probably fight out for it at some point. You also have Kendrick there, who may see a huge increase in what he did because he played really well for us, won a national title for us as well. And this dude, Antunovic, is not going to make the roster. So quarterback is really tough. Maybe it makes sense to put him at receiver. He'll be a guy that can play easily next season. He's one of our top guys. I think it makes sense to put him there. So officially, Porter Ryan will be moving to wide receiver. Could potentially play quarterback at some point if we need him to, but for now, he's going over there. Jamel Thomas is really intriguing as well. 6'4", 223 pounds, has pretty good speed with great acceleration at 90 overall. We could look at a couple different positions for him, but I think the best spot, considering our depth chart, is going to be left outside linebacker. He'll be able to compete going into next season for that. Again, more depth. You'd love to see it here. Going through the training results, we can see Cedric Thornton again, still mulling his transfer potential here, is going up +4. We see Kendrick go up +3. And Antunovic, who we had just sitting in the roster because we essentially needed him there last season to fill out the roster a little bit, goes up +9 of 56. But again, he's not going to see the field at all this season. At halfback, Sean Stewart goes up to a 90 overall for his senior season. Can't wait to see what he does. Brian Pancotti, though, who was redshirted, goes down -2. So maybe not a guy that we can be super excited about in the future. At fullback, George Bear goes up +2. We see our new guy that comes in here from the transfer spot, Darrow Rd, go up +4 to a 61. At wide receiver, Jeremy Willis is now a 97, one of the highest rated receivers we've ever had here. RJ Riley goes up +1, Baker +4, Wilson goes up +7, the biggest jump of all our wide receivers. He showed obviously big play potential last season. Williams is +4, Clark is +1, Revels is going to be +3, as is Newsome getting +3 too. At tight end, we're going to see Minor go up +3 as Fernie goes up +5. Fernie's going to be a monster. Can't wait to see what he does in limited action this season. At left tackle, we see +6 for Marquez Smith. You see -3 for Chris Johnson, who comes back this season instead of declaring for the NFL draft. Maybe not a good decision for him. As we see Mark Wood, the redshirt freshman, up to a +7 at 83. We see Stephen May at a 76 +4. At left guard, we're seeing Jason Miller go up +4 to 87. Shane Walker goes up +4 as well. At center, we're seeing Wesley Gaines go up +5. Jaquez Simmons goes up +5 as well. I feel like we're going to start Simmons, as we know what we had from him last season. Didn't give up a single absolute sack, so we'll give him the edge probably in that situation. We see James Jackson, though, go up +5 too. We've got an embarrassment of riches at center, and then +3 from Darius Bush. Right guard's going to be +5 for Simpson. We're going to see +5 for Baker, with Beckwith going up nothing. Right tackle, we're going to see +3 for Ray, +3 for Wade, and then +4 for Sanders. At left end, we're going to see Tony Rutledge go up +6 to an 84. At right end, we're seeing Hill go up +6 to a 79, +4 for Davis, +2 for Durant, and then +4 for Gums. And then at defensive tackle, we're going to see +3 for Corey Brown, +2 for Anderson, +4 for Carson. Left side linebacker, +9 for Chris Bass. Excuse me. Chris Bass goes up +9, meaning he's going to be a big-time player making big-time plays for us this season. You love to see that. Home was up +5. We see +3 for Sampson. Middle linebacker +6 for Alvarez, as well as +1 for Morgan and +3 for Christensen. At right outside linebacker, we're seeing +4 for Stephen Lowe in his senior season. We're seeing Coleman pretty much stay flat, which is weird considering how good of a year he had last year. And then we're going to see Chris Jordan go up +1. As we go to corner, we're going to see Fowler go up +4. We're going to see Hemphill go up +2. Harvey actually goes down 2 despite having an incredible year last year. Mitchell comes up +2, and then Ward comes up +4 as well. As we go to free safety, we're going to see +2 for DeMel Hill, +7 for Will Hayes, who still really hasn't seen much of the field. Maybe that changes a little bit this year as we get him some spot opportunities. And then a strong safety, we're going to see Jacob Coleman go up +3 to a 79. At kicker, obviously we're bringing on a new kicker. Then at punter, we have Michael Barnes for his last part of his season here in Cascade Valley, a +4 to a 97, making him the highest overall player on the team, tied with Barnes and Willis. That's a heck of a trio. We're coming back this season with another really difficult schedule. We're going to open up week number 2 because we're having a bye for the first week against number 15 Florida State. We then play number 8 USC at their stadium. We then travel and back to home and play number 5 Miami in a rematch of the national championship. We then play number 22 Virginia at that point. Then it's Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Minnesota, Rutgers, open part of our schedule. Number 11 LSU, what is becoming a little bit of a grudge match between us. We finish with Purdue, the spoiler makers, and somewhat of a rivalry game, and then it's conference championship week. Another schedule, another crazy year. It's going to be a tough one for sure. And last but not least, there is a major shakeup. Yes, you probably predicted it, but Mr. Cedric Thornton has decided to transfer from our school. Where did he go? Well, you'll find out in the next episode, but believe me, this dude's out for revenge. At the end of the day, we have to do what we got to do. We got to keep moving forward. Kendrick showed that he can step up, but a lot of pressure is on him. He can't just be a spot starter and try to shake things up. He is the guy that'll be scouted week in and week out. Can he hold up to the pressure, or is somebody else going to step up? We'll find out soon. Be safe, be smart, tell somebody you love them. Catch you guys in the next one.